doctor. Please don't take all medical advice from us. If you're working with a doctor and you're on certain medications, you really need to get clearance from a doctor when it comes to supplementation. So I just want to be clear on that, because it does have clotting factors in it. And if you're trying to thin your blood, because certain diagnosis,
Oh, I absolutely love that. And that's why I also caution people with the fish oil supplementation, because there are a lot of people who end up, Trisha, with some, catastrophic results, because a lot of people don't know when things go rancid and how to tell, and just there's been a lot of horror stories with people who supplement, omega-3s from the fish oil pills. So I highly recommend that you make sure that it is something that's coming from a credible source, and also something that is really, truly, been from an ethical, type of provider. So I know Big Bold. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Big Bold Health. I know Dr. Gundry, Dr. Mark Hyman, they all have, recommendations for if you're looking for fish oil supplements. I don't use the fish oil supplements just because I get more than enough from my foods. So, but if you're looking to do that, those are some great resources as well. And definitely consult your physician, especially if you're on blood thinners. Thank you for that caveat, Trisha. Mary Kim, over to you, sis.
Thank you, ladies, Health Wells and Trisha, for this. So children and people with Down syndrome, they have a high percentage of having Alzheimer's when they get older. So my son will not eat fish. I can hide things in his stuff that he doesn't know that he's having. But what other things have high omega stuff in it, like salmon would, that I can actually implement into his diet? Because he's, like a typical toddler, wants all the fries and things. So any other thing that he can eat that has those nutrients?
I don't know that there's one that's higher than the salmon as far as a protein source. That's pretty much the holy grail of it. But maybe the chia seeds, if you could put it, does he eat any like pudding or yogurt or something like that?
Yeah. So I do put vegetables into his spaghetti sauce that I make, and then the chia seed stuff, I do put it in his yogurt and mix it in. So I can with that, and maybe just instead of one time a day, maybe I can just add a little more so he has that until he gets the taste of salmon, which we'll see. But that's
what about a salmon burger? Trisha, do you have any others?
Burgers, cheese, when he was little, he ate everything, so he's starting to be more adventurous these days. So I'm hoping he gets back to eating everything. Like, he would eat anything I gave him. So we'll just continue on this way. But thank you so much for that information. It's really valuable to me. Thank you. Appreciate you, ladies. Bye. I'll yield the mic.
Trisha, you were about to pop in?
I'm looking here and it says walnuts. I don't know if he likes nuts. That's something. Pasteurized eggs, they say, are and hemp seeds. I don't know. There's spinach. Actually, I don't know. Kids are not really.
Desi does like eggs. He'll eat eggs. He will not eat. But he'll eat eggs. And I can put things into, he likes French toast and pancakes, so I can actually put those things in there and he won't even know. And he's not here to listen to me telling me that I'm going to hide stuff in his food. So.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Mary Kim, that is really a very high risk in children with Down syndrome. I was actually just watching a story on that just recently about somebody, and actually a keto diet is actually really promoted for people with Down syndrome. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but
I did not. I did not, Trisha. So thank you. Yeah, that's helpful. So anything, and if I knew some things earlier, his diet would be different today. But we're moving and grooving, and we're learning. So appreciate you ladies always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh man, and something that I want to make sure that I alert you all to is tilapia is fake. It's a frankenfood. It is not a real fish that naturally occurred out in nature. So please do not think that when we're talking about fish, we are not talking about the fake fish. If you understood and knew what was going on in these fake fish farm fish
My
farms.
grandmother refused to eat tilapia.
Don't do it. I'm telling you, it's fake. It's so fake. Go for it. Somebody was popping in.
Yes, it's important health, and I'm so happy you mentioned about fishing. You know, it's really important that we pick and choose wisely when it comes on to fish. You know, you want to pick the fishes that are like deep water. Like divers got to go down and get those real fish from nature. And you know, for example, red snapper, that's a great fish. So we have to be really mindful of the seafood aspect. But that being said, I use my mic.
Absolutely, really cold water fatty fish. You know, wild caught, cold water, fatty fish. I'll say it again. Cold water, fatty fish, wild caught. You don't want, I highly, you know, would discourage you from doing the farmed fish, even if it's the salmon. Please, please, please. Like, don't waste your money. Please don't. If you knew what they're like, at least in the U.S., I don't know how Europe regulates it as far as the farmed fish, but here, you know, the collusion that takes place and what they're allowed to get away with the farm situation of fish, it would blow your mind. So red snapper is one of my favorites. Salmon, wild caught salmon is one of my favorites. Herring, you know, you guys think cold water fatty fish. If you want to hear a whole deep dive into that whole ordeal, check out Dr. Mark Hyman's Food Pharmacy podcast. He does break down and give you specifics on all the different fish options if you want to go that way. I highly recommend, if you know Alzheimer's runs in your family, get ahead of the curve and make sure you're intentional about the omega-3 fatty acids that you are doing, making sure that you're getting it in daily. See, I don't sit here and wallow in the fact that I was born with naturally higher cholesterol, born with a naturally high, I'm more prone to and sensitive to sodium and, you know, having hypertension or things like that because of my family my epigenetics, but I don't let it stop me. Just like people don't let it stop them when they have to put on glasses. So I use my corrective lenses. That's why I don't play about these omega-3s. This is why I don't play about my vitamin D3 and my magnesium. I am intentionally doing things that clean plaque. So if you know that Alzheimer's and dementia, early onset dementia runs in your family, you have to run a solid health offense now. And these omega-3s are a huge part of that. And so when I talk about health fundamentals, when I tell you about walking and hydrating and meditating, here's how you can really tap in. Speaking of the amyloid plaques and Alzheimer's, adaptogens, and specifically lion's mane. You don't got to take my word for it. You can type in lion's mane and the NIH, and you can pull up studies and actual published scientific papers on the benefits of adaptogens when it comes down to the amyloid plaques that build in the brains of people who have Alzheimer's. Get ahead of the curve. Don't wait to get Alzheimer's. Don't wait to get heart disease. I'm telling you right now, you can research this. You don't have to wonder what the #1 public enemy in America as far as health is. It's heart disease. Hypertension is a silent killer. You got to get ahead of the curve. You can do things now. Give it back. If the enemy gave it to you, give it back. Just because they gave you that piece of paper or you know that you have epigenetics towards Alzheimer's, that don't mean that it has to be, it's fated for you to get it. Run a solid health offense. You can do this. You are here intentionally. You telling me you won the life lottery. You had a 1 in 400 trillion chance and you're going to tap out with Alzheimer's. You're going to tap out with type 2 diabetes. You're going to tap out and let public enemy #1 heart disease take you out? Absolutely not. You're better than that. You are a born champion. You heard what Eric Thomas said. Listen, you can win in your health. Listen, and that takes me to our health fundamentals, which is walk, hydrate, meditate. And there's so many of those things that fall underneath that I'll be breaking down through the course of this year during the segments. So I'm so excited that we get an opportunity to tap into the power of big threes. I want to do a quick room reset just in case you just popped in. I wanted you to know that you are in the Breakfast with Champions. Listen, founded by Glenn Lundy, and actually at the helm now is Mary Lynn Wilkins. And so I'm so excited that we get to soar more and prevail more in 2024. I'm so grateful that you get a chance to tap into our Facebook group that's online. You can go ahead and be a part of the conversation amongst champions, that you get to share this room on Twitter, share this room on Facebook, share this room on LinkedIn. Text somebody right now the link to the room. Listen, we can each be one. You can be the power of one more for somebody else. Someone needs to tap into this conversation. Someone needs to be in this room. Iron sharpens iron. We're champions. You're champions. I just have to come and remind you of the power that's within you. It's time for us to tap into the wonder of periodization. Have that 12-week year. Shrink your year. Shrink it and make sure that if you got 12 weeks, do you know how much you can get done if you look at your year in 12 weeks and then you start another year after that? Year one has already started for me. And it started right here in Breakfast with Champions. Get the 12-week yearbook. I highly, highly recommend it. Make sure you're tapping into your supplemental big threes, which is omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, vitamin D3, and your execution trinity, which is having a 12-week year, which is 3 months. Yes. And then we got to make sure that we have our health fundamentals big three, which is walking, hydrating, and meditating. Trisha, did you have anything you wanted to share with the people?
I'm sorry, I was looking up a channel for Mary Kim. I apologize, but I am just excited that you brought up all these things with magnesium D3, and I am caught off guard.
Not a problem. Not a problem. I'm gonna go. We're gonna keep this thing going. Yes, please definitely give Mary Kim that channel link in the chat. That would be so awesome. But magnesium, you guys, of the big three, the last of the big three that I wanted to talk to you about is magnesium. I highly recommend activation products that you get it transdermally. You can also, you're getting magnesium from dark leafy green veggies as well, but usually we don't get enough. Most people, here's the thing, heart disease is able to prevail. Public enemy number one gets to prevail because we are typically deficient. And I'm not talking about some of us, I'm talking about 96% of us. So whether you skinny, muscular, you look physically fit, most people in America are deficient in magnesium. I'm not though. I'm not. So here's the thing. You gotta do what you gotta do to make sure that you do something about it. And here's the thing. Most of us who are in the know, especially behind the scenes, we supplement it in the best, most bioavailable form, which is transdermal, spraying it on the skin in the evening. Not to mention, magnesium is so good with pain reduction. Those of you who are experiencing muscle aches and things like that, this is one of my training room secrets. This is one of the things that I use with athletes or with people who come to me who have muscular pain or having just the, annoying things that are going on. Listen, I was able to take place in that MAV reset, especially after the injury I had suffered 2 years ago with my tearing both of the ligaments in my knee. And it took me out for a minute, but the magnesium was the way. I didn't want surgery. I did not want them going in and operating on my knees. I did it the natural way. And I'm telling you, magnesium was a big part of that. I make sure that I get ahead of the curve. So I would definitely use it in the mornings. I put magnesium on my knees, or if I'm going to do something new that may be a little more of a load in that area that I know has not fully recovered yet, I make sure that I apply my magnesium to it, but I definitely do it at night because, as I told you, my family epigenetics already puts me at a predisposition when it comes down to sodium, when it comes down to cholesterol. So I am not waiting to do something about it. I am tapping into the best source, which is made by Activation Products, and it's called Ease Magnesium. So I don't waste time with the pills because 80% of it is lost. Why am I going to use a source that is I'm only gonna get 20% of what it's saying that is gonna offer me, when I can get the most bioavailable form, which is transdermally, and that's what I use, and that's what I also highly recommend. You can consult with your doctor, do whatever you feel is best for you, but I'm telling you, outside of getting the liquid form from a doctor intravenously, Ease magnesium spray is the most bioavailable that is on the market that you can buy yourself. The pills, there's none that gives you the actual level of magnesium that you get from the actual sprays. So I just wanted to make sure that I made that clear. So what are our supplemental big threes that a lot of people are confused about? Where do I start? What should I be making sure that I supplement or pay attention to first? Omega-3s, magnesium, and vitamin D3 with the side piece of that K2. So Trisha, is there anything you wanted to say concerning our big threes before we open the floor and allow others to ask questions or tap in?
No, please do. I want to hear it. If anybody has any questions, that would be wonderful.
All right, the floor is open. Does anyone have any questions?
It's Jackie.
Good morning, sister. Woo!
You know, I love when I hear people talking about magnesium, and what you just said. I've been taking the supplements, right? So I obviously need to get a good spray. But for me, I had that restless leg syndrome, and honest to God, for years it kept me up at night. It was just horrific. And then, of course, you go to your doctors, you're referred to a consultant, and they wanted to put me on iodine. And then I looked into the side effects of being on the iodine, and I thought, no effing way am I going on that. So I kept going, and somebody who had been a nurse said to me that what they used to give patients at night was magnesium. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give that a go. I've looked at the medical route, I've tried different medications, all that kind of thing. And you know what? It was a game changer, absolute game changer. But I'm sure I would get a lot more benefit than all the crap that they put into those tablets by using what you suggested as a spray, because I didn't know you could use it as a spray. So there you go. Thank you. I've learned something today. But I also learned in the past, I was very, very low on B12. So, of course, I had to go, and for 8 days in a row, I had to get the B12 injections. And then I started taking the supplements. And then, of course, somebody in the wise said to me, because you have Crohn's disease, you are not actually absorbing the B12. You are better off with the spray, and spray it orally. So I think, you know, these things and what you were saying is just phenomenal. People should be taking notes. They should be listening, because doctors will always sell you medication. And when you're on medication, and this is from personal experience, it might help a little bit with something, but you will most definitely have other side effects that will be to your detriment. So love this discussion. Thank you so much. It's Jackie, passing back the baton.
Absolutely. Trisha, did you want to tell her about your experience with the magnesium and the restless leg?
Oh, I got to tap in so much because, Jackie, I swear to God, we have the same profile. So I am also somebody that suffers from restless leg syndrome. My B12 level was so low. Issues with my gut, was getting injections, everything. The absorption levels were just not there. Health said to me one day, oh, I have this spray that I know of. Why don't you try it? And I'm telling, this is after 10 years of going back and forth with this issue. And the spray is amazing, Jackie. It's just, you know, I spray it directly on whatever's aching me in the area of my legs at night. And it's just, I keep telling them that it's my love language, because it just calms me. It puts me to rest. my husband complains about an area of his back hurting, I just spray a little bit on it and he goes to sleep. It's like heaven came over to us and gave us a bottle of this wonderful spray. So I just love it, and it's just wonderful. And like you said, just applying it to your skin is just so much better than all. And you're coming. This is coming from a registered nurse of 28 years. If you can apply something to your skin instead of digesting something, ingesting something, that you have a 15-minute visit with your doc, that really, I know when it comes to nutrition, they haven't had much training in nutrition unless they, went for nutrition specialties in school. My daughter's an endocrinologist, and she said, Mom, I didn't have a lot of nutrition training in school. And she works with diabetes all the time and hormonal things all the time. So, just to say, health, thank you for my bottle of spray. I love it.
Yes, and I wanted to tell you, Jackie, you may actually be able to tap in, because that company, I think the British Sports Medicine Journal really truly kind of led the world and really put us on over here on this side of the pond to it. So you may even be able to tap in, because that's where it's sourced from. It's from the Dead Sea, actually. So you might be able to even get it at a more economical rate than we can get it over here, because it comes from, that side of the world. And the British Sports Medicine Journal is a really rich resource. If you guys are looking for natural ways to get things done, and kinesthetic ways to actually go further and prevail in your health more, I highly recommend that you tap in. The name of the company that I'm recommending is Activation Products. There are a lot of knockoff sprays, and I'm telling you, they fake news. They don't do what Activation does. Thank you so much, Trisha. And there's so many stories just like Trisha's that have tapped into that magnesium spray that I've highly recommended. Some people who have sleep issues, I'm telling you, I'm going to put my link for the magnesium spray in the chat as well. So Trisha, if you could manage the floor for me, anybody else who wants to pop in while I drop this link in the chat.
I wanted to say that, yes, this is Deborah. Morning. Good morning. I've been using magnesium spray for, many, many years. And I don't live without magnesium. Magnesium is like my go-to mineral. I keep it. I use it at night sometimes when I need to really get a good night's sleep. I have the spray, and you can spray it and rub it around your heart area, and it helps to calm your heart rate and those kinds of things. Of course, you need other nutritional regimens as well. You can't just, be in a bad way and think it's going to happen overnight. But if you work on getting your health straight, health in balance, and start using magnesium, it is a miracle. Literally, my favorite book is the Magnesium Miracle. If you haven't seen that book, if you haven't read that book, The Magnesium Miracle, listen, it will change your life and perspective on health and wellness, and all of the pharmaceuticals that they're dishing out. It will change your mind and change your heart, change the way you think, your understanding. This doctor did in-depth research on health and wellness, and it's the pharmaceutical industry. And my cousin, for example, before I go, my cousin, she is on, a lot of different medications. She's a cancer survivor. She has had stem cell replacement, all of those things, and she's a miracle. She just turned 75, and she is beautiful, and she's thriving. However, some of the medication that she takes, depletes her of certain nutrients that her body actually needs, the good stuff. And so it's the medication. Like for example, like the high blood pressure medication or the diabetes medication, every now and then she'll have like a high potassium. So the doctors will put her on some kind of, eating regimen that will lower her potassium. But the food that she can't eat is usually the good stuff. It's like
All the
spinach.
good stuff.
It's
Yes.
the spinach and it's the, the stuff that she needs. She can't eat the good stuff. And I'm like, doesn't this tell you something that all of the stuff that you can't eat is the good stuff? But you can eat the bad stuff, but you can't eat the good stuff. It was just crazy. And I was like, and this book, The Magnesium Miracle, speaks on all of this. And it's a true phenomenon. So I just wanted to chime in and say we're absolutely on to something. I would say anybody and everybody who's having sleep issues or, racing hearts rates or those, just the nervous system, it helps. The nervous system, I'm telling you, get it. Get the high quality magnesium. Don't play with that foolishness. Get the high quality stuff. There's 7 different types of magnesium and what they do. I'm telling you, educate yourself. Thank you so much. And this is a great conversation.
Thank you, Deborah. We love that. Go ahead, Trisha.
I was just going to say thank you, Deborah, for that. It was really, a testimony to what can happen when you invest in certain things. I mean, we'll go out and we'll spend close to $6 on a cup of coffee with some fancy little spray on it of whipped cream and a bunch of junk. And we won't invest in something like a spray that will help us get proper rest at night. So back over to you, Health. I was just going to share that. I just feel like sometimes we waste our money on certain things that we think are posh and great. And we don't invest in certain things that will help us at night.
Right. And the medication isn't free. So when people try to say, listen, you're either going to pay on the front end or the back end. So they're going to take your money by force at the end, or you could go ahead and use your money and invest it by choice right now. Like, listen, you got to dead the excuses and the dead language. It's a lie identity. That's why I love that term I heard from Myron Golden. You got to get rid of the identities, and I call them health identities. You can afford to get enough magnesium. Listen, if the spray sets you back, and you're saying, okay, I can't tap in right now with the spray, at least get started with the Epsom salt. You can start soaking your feet with Epsom salt. You can start taking an Epsom salt soak and then work your way up to be able and find a way to get the resources to actually get the spray. It is the best $28 I'm telling you that you will spend. Do it ahead of time. Don't wait till Big Pharma forces you to actually start participating in the sick care system. So that money gonna get spent one way or the other. I'm telling you. So it's better that you invest it and get the best return on your investment. You're in the health business. Your health is your business. It is the lifelong business that you will have. When all other things are said and done, the moment you opened your eyes, the moment that you went ahead and got that slap on your rear side, you was in the health business. And you're going to be on the health business until the day that you draw your final breath. You got to run a better health business. You got to be intentional about your health business. And I want to make sure that we understand the execution trinity. You got to resolve to do what it is that you got to do to run your health business. You have to make sure you shrink this timeline. Stop hating and speaking ill against resolutions. The timeline is the issue. Make yourself committed to a 12-week year. You'll get so much more done. That's 3 months, a 12-week year, 3 months. You can do this. Focus on 3 things that you're going to start being intentional about with your health as far as activities, which is walking, hydrating, and meditating, making sure you're moving your body 20 to 30 minutes a day. Some of you don't have limbs. Guess what? Maybe you're bedridden. You could still do the quad sets. It helps your heart. It is a way to still have active relaxation. It won't even spike your cortisol levels. And guess what? You'll still get the benefits of it as if you were exercising. You can hold and literally contract the different areas of your body. This is what we do when a lot of our athletes are post-op or post-surgery and they can't do anything that's weight-bearing, or if they're bedridden. We have them do literally quad sets. We have them doing contract and hold like exercises in the bed so that they can continue. So I don't want to hear any excuses. There are people who have no arms and legs and they're outworking you. Dead every excuse. You can still exercise even if you're in the bed. You can do this. I'm not telling you something I heard. I'm telling you something that I've actively done and actively seen. There are people online right now lifting weights with no arms and legs. So how is it that they're outworking you? A sedentary life, Dr. Louis Ignaro said, is voluntary suicide. Please don't commit suicide. Please don't commit voluntary suicide with a sedentary lifestyle. Listen, it's time for you to prevail in 2024. It's time for you to prevail more in 2024. I need you to unmic and say it with me. Prevail more in 2024. Let's go. Prevail more in 2024. Prevail more in 2024. You can do this. I love it. Here's what I got a message from Dr. King. He said, always know that you count. He said, always know that you matter. Always know that your life has ultimate significance, because it does. It's time for you to release those identities, those lie identities, and tap into the I am within you. I am abundant health. I am well. I am a longevity, seeker. I am a centenarian. Listen, you have to go for the goal of the 120. So even if you didn't get to 120, if you got to 110, would you be mad? If you got to 115 or 102, would you be mad? It's better than the 80. It's better than the 70. Let's go intentionally for what God said that we can have. And he said we can have 120 years. So why are we settling and talking about you at 60? You young. You ain't even halfway there. What are you talking about? It's time for you to tap into the power of the execution trinity. So set a 12-week year starting now. Tap into the power of the 3. Walk 20 to 30 minutes a day. Hydrate, having at least half of your body weight in ounces of water. Making sure you're having adaptogens like reishi, which is good for lowering your cortisol levels and cleaning your arteries and lowering your stress. Listen, ashwagandha, cordyceps. Listen, also lion's mane, which gonna help your brain. This is how I teach my sports medicine students how to remember a lot of these things. Lion's mane gonna help your brain. Chaga, which is the king of all mushrooms. Listen, for those of you who are coffee drinkers, listen, then use adaptogen-based coffee. Get yourself mushroom coffees. You ain't got to throw the baby out with the bathwater. What you do need to do is make sure you have a caffeine curfew. Listen, and then you got to make sure that you are getting those green teas. I did a segment on just your immune system and making sure you do a super cup of green tea, or, at least having 1 to 4 bags a day. Let's go. These are simple, inexpensive things that we can invest in our health business. And then you got to meditate. Sleep is a form of meditation, and I will be doing a segment on sleep. Listen, and then you got to also do deep breathing meditations. You need nitric oxide, y'all. You need it, and you can get it for free. And then you can do guided imagery. These are all things that are going to help you stay out of the health pipeline to a premature grave. Listen, guided imagery, those forms of meditation is going to help you. I love The Honest Guys. They have great free meditations. If you're someone that finds it difficult to meditate, check out them on YouTube. They're called The Honest Guys. If somebody can put the name of that in the chat, I'd love it. But I just wanted to make sure that I just circled back to make sure that you understand that you need to resolve. Use the power of periodization, which is you're focusing in on a specific task or specific target within a shorter period of time. See, annualization can make you lazy in your health, but periodization can help you win in your health. Listen, tap in, walk, hydrate, meditate, the big 3 supplementation, omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, vitamin D3 with a side of K2. And then you got to make sure that you're doing all that you can do. And then Les Brown said, all that you can do is enough. Trisha, did you have any closing words that you want to say before we pass this over to Randy?
No, I just want to say, be well, be good, happy 2024. I'm so proud of everybody for being here, sticking in the room and listening to all the input. And just thank you very much, guys, for taking charge of your health today.
I want to do one closing exercise as we hand over this mic. I want you guys to unmic, and I want you to be grateful for your health. So you're going to say, I am grateful for the abundant health, and say your full name. I am grateful for, and so for instance, I would say, I am grateful for the abundant health of Shawnte Lakeisha Health Wells. We got it? Ready? Unmic on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3, I am grateful for the abundant health of Shawnte Wells. Yes, thank you. And with that, it's been my pleasure to tap in and sub for Monica and Amelia Antonetti, my favorite Clubhouse human. So I love this community. I hope you guys will tap in and support Christina's event that's coming up at the end of this month. Support Books in the Hood as well. And Randy, you can take it away. Woo! Flare out.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, I got something so already.
Thank you, Kimberly. Randy, hey, welcome.
This is that is I was the 2nd of January, and I've already heard something that really meant a lot to me. So thank you for that. I love that whole concept. I love that phrase. Maybe it's been said here before, but I have not heard it before. Love it, love it, love it, and so grateful to hear that. So, Happy New Year, everyone. Miss Sarah is late today, so we'll see what happens. I want to joining me on stage. So, so somebody's mic is open, and I'm hearing sounds like a marble hitting the.
Let me look. I think it was me. I got it. He must be playing with the pen, waiting for Sarah, like la la la.
So, as you all know, I always try to think. So, segment. Wow, there's this pressure. This is January 2nd. This 2024, and I really want to lead discussion in a way that's positive and sort of befits the magnitude of a new year.